Independent grind, powered by Tech Nine.
On the line right now, we have Ash Reiser. How are you today, man?
I'm good, man. Just kind of going through the emails, getting my day started. How you doing?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Same thing, I guess. Emails all day, catching up. I guess so. Yeah, you're sort of you do your own thing. You're independent, jack of all trades, catching emails up. I know you have your own label, correct?
Yeah, I just started a record label called Bennu Records.
What's that process been like, getting that off the ground?
It's actually been it's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, just because the artists that I picked, you know, they're all really, really talented, and I've had personal relationships with them for quite some time. So our whole thing is, you know, I just don't want any of the artists that I fuck with or, you know, like believe in to get screwed over by people in the industry that, you know, I don't know, you know, the stories that you hear, like, oh, this happened, people take advantage, money, you know, you hear that 43 out of 43 billion, I think it was, what was it, 12% went to the artists. You know, it's ridiculous, and the way the machine's been set up is against the artists. It always has been. So I wanted to create a platform where I can kind of help people that, you know, so they don't need to make the same mistakes that either I did or my business partner did.
Mm-hmm. Early on to help some of the artists listening, what were some of those mistakes you made, or something that happened, like a horror story of yours that you're sort of trying to prevent now?
Like, you know, just not getting paid for features or whatever, or even credited for writing, you know, and just not having my paperwork ready at the time, and just not having my business right, you know, being like young and impressionable, and, you know, just not protected, going in blind, you know, not knowing about any of the back end things at all. You know, so I don't want to get into specifics about anything, but, you know, it's just like that happens to a lot of artists. You know, there's a lot of people that do things behind closed doors and they don't get the proper compensation. And I feel like it has to stop, you know, eventually.
Yeah, I know you've been independent for a while. I think all of your releases have been self-released. What's your experience as an independent artist, and what do you think makes it the right path for you?
I just, you know, I just like the freedom, the creative control, being able to do whatever I want to do. I have a lot of friends that signed to major labels and they got shelved, and like it's not that I've never been approached or had meetings. You know, I've definitely almost folded and been in those rooms and had those talks, but at the end of the day, I just knew that if I kept going and I just did everything on my own and, you know, built a team around myself, that I'd be able to do what I want to do fully and not have to conform, or how I feel like, you know, selling out, like doing something I don't necessarily want to do just to get plays, to get bookings, you know, and I've been down that road, but just artist integrity really is just the main thing that has kept me independent, I think.
Mm-hmm. What's the biggest challenge, though, you face being an independent artist? Because I know it's hard not having the huge machine behind you.
I mean, dude, honestly, it's just getting by. You know, like I'm about to be 29 years old. I'm engaged. You know, it's just, you know, finances. It's really, you know, when you're doing everything on your own, you're investing into yourself. You know, it's hit and miss. So it's just, you know, if I was doing it for the money, I probably wouldn't be doing it. I would have probably chosen and done something else. But this is all I know. I just love music, so. You know, it always seems to work itself out one way or another. So, you know, that's really the toughest thing about being independent, I think. Especially at the level that I'm at. It's like I've taken, you know, a year hiatus or whatever, and I haven't been on the road in a while. So, you know, that hurts an artist's pockets.
Mm-hmm. Especially with a wedding coming up, I'm sure it's extra on your mind.
Especially with the wedding coming up, man. Yeah.
How'd you pop the question?
Actually, you asked a cool ass question, and I have a really cool answer for that. I played at Frog Gnaw with Mike G at you know, the Odd Future Carnival. I played guitar for him, and my girlfriend showed up after work, and I had like bought the ring off of the jeweler before I went to the show, and I was super stressed out. And like, we're backstage, and I introduced her to June from Overdose, and I'm like, yo, this is my fiancé. And she looked at me all funny. And then I like got on one knee, and Left was supposed to film it, and he's like, "Oh, you already did it!" Like I did it so ninja. Like I just like got down on one knee, gave her the ring. She said yes, and then it was Gucci. You know what I mean? We went and saw Solange play right after, I think.
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, it was hella cool, and you know, she said yes, thank God. So it worked out.
Were you more nervous asking her or like going on stage to perform? Which one was more nerve wracking?
Honestly, I'm more nervous asking her for sure. Cause like the stage shit, dude. Like I go on stage and I do that regardless. You know what I mean? And that's just what I do. I was hella worried that she was gonna say no, and I was gonna be backstage with like everybody, and they're all just gonna be looking at me. You know what I mean? Like that would have been the worst possible thing that could happen. Like, oh, remember that one dude that proposed to his girl backstage? Yeah, that dude. Like, I do not want to be remembered as that guy. That was like turned down, you know. So it was definitely a lot more nerve wracking. But you know, her and I, we kind of talked about it, so I kind of knew she was gonna say yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's the key is like kind of knowing before you ask and
hopefully knowing, yeah.
Hopefully knowing.
Yeah. You have to, I feel like, you know.
Yeah. You mentioned Left Brain, Mike G and stuff. I know you're connected with him. How'd you get linked up with him?
Dude, Mike was DJing around LA and actually like just walked up to him one day and I made a joke. I was like, dude, if you and I are both at the party, then you know it's like the only thing going on in LA. And then from there, we just kind of started chilling. And he brought Left and Haji over one night. And then Left ended up chilling. You know, everyone else went home or whatever. And then that's the night, actually, that night we made the 2 tracks on my album that he produced with me.
That's dope. And I know you produce yourself, correct?
Yeah, I produce like 80%, 85% of my stuff.
How do you balance that? Like
this one project. Wait, what were you saying?
I was just asking how you sort of balance that, like, you know, saying I'm going to handle this for myself or trying to get something from somebody else.
I usually, man, like I just sit down and I start making stuff from scratch on my own. But if I'm vibing with an artist and we're listening to production, I hear something that I absolutely am like, yo, like automatically I hear a vocal melody and, you know, I have the concepts because that's kind of how stuff hits me. It's either right away or not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, if it catches my ear right away, it's really just up to them. Like, yo, can I use this? You know, and then if they're down, then you know, we just get in the lab and just go right there. I think Left and I did Jealous like right there. I heard the beat. I called Amber. I wrote her part out for her. Or no, Lily McKenzie from London wrote her part out. That's how it worked out. And then. Yeah, and then we just set up the session like later that night. It was like 3 a.m. or something like that.
What about for the new project? Is that still sort of the same method you're using? Is it mostly you on the production?
No, Howl, I produced all of it. So Howl's 100% produced by me. And it's a lot different than Ghosts was, just sonically. It's a lot more like indie rock influence, you know? Like I'm really like, I'm just kind of messing with, hold on one second. I'm filling up a glass of water. You know, just listening back to old like records with the Strokes and the White Stripes and Amy Winehouse and really just pulling inspiration from artists that I listened to in high school, you know, or that got me through high school or whatever, you know what I mean? I was to post high school when I was in my band and just, you know, bands that just revisiting old records, man, and then just kind of being like, yo, I want to make an album with just guitars, bass, and drums, and me singing, and just kind of take out all the synths and stuff. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing the 808 stuff for a while, and just kind of, you know, experimenting with my sound to refine it and make it signature. And then this just comes so natural to me. I feel like already the response has been amazing. So I feel like the fans or whoever's following me is, you know, they're going to understand the transformation of the music. It's just like growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, hopefully that is showing as much as I think it's showing in the new songs, like Impressed and Howl and stuff.
Yeah. You mentioned going back to old records. Is there one in particular that you sort of like clicked with or connected to that sort of helped inspire Howl?
Um, the song itself, it was just like I just wanted to do the whole album. Not really, probably like honestly, the Strokes is the band that I listen to on the regular. Still to this day, I listen to like their first album all the time, and then Nirvana, obviously, just like really dope grunge, simple bands. I will say that Black Math by the White Stripes probably got me to really just pick up a guitar again and do. Actually, yeah, that would be it. Black Math by the White Stripes.
Nice.
I didn't really think about that one. I haven't actually thought about that yet. Like what inspired me.
Yeah, I feel like this is a perfect time to ask this. I was going to ask it. I saw you tweeted it today. You said talked about how it bothers you how there's no like new bands getting mainstream attention. I've like always kind of felt the same thing. Does that?
Yeah, I noticed that like in this last week, because I'm weird. I don't really listen to music, especially in the genre that I'm creating at the time. So, I did some research this morning, and I was like, dude, how the fuck is it the same bands?
Mm-hmm.
That were going on when I was in sixth grade? It's like Foo Fighters and Linkin Park, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, where's the only newer band is Imagine Dragons? I could go without listening to Imagine Dragons. Like, I could have never listened to them and been completely fine. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, yeah, and it's just like I just feel like I every time I listen to alternative rock radio, I'm disappointed, and no disrespect, I just feel like people aren't bringing it, and I don't think that. I don't know. I just don't feel like people are bringing it right now. It's not as exciting as it was when you had like I call it the American indie rock wave with like the White Stripes, the Hives, the Von Bondies, the Strokes, all these bands coming out at the same time, and like that was a really impactful time in rock music,
Now, what do you think it'll take to revive the alternative rock scene? Because it's clearly not where you think it should be. Is there anything you think is particularly missing that you can finger?
Reviving rock and roll, like as a genre?
Yeah, just addressing the problem you just stated.
I mean, I just think that more kids need to pick up guitars and like basses and play drums and just like, jam. Like, instead of like being isolated, like there's nothing wrong with being a producer, but when I know from experience, when you're a producer, you're locked in a room by yourself 99% of the time working. And there's nothing like being in a room full of musicians creating something from scratch and that feeling that you get from vibing with that other artist, and like, I just think that kids should just, really try and pick up a guitar or a bass and, keys and instruments and just kind of let it happen. I don't know. You know what I mean? I used to see this t-shirt, that was a Tom Petty t-shirt that said like, throw away your computer and buy a guitar. And I strongly disagree with that because we live in an era where, we're going to utilize everything that we can get our hands on. So I feel like if I'm able to make these records in my bedroom with just a bass, a couple of guitars, and drum loops that I chop up and, kicks and snares that I have, then I feel like anybody could do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then at the same time, it's exciting to me knowing that I'm doing something that not a lot of other people are doing when I can listen to the same song by 8 different artists on SoundCloud at any point in time.
Mm-hmm. Did that go?
And I'm not hating at all.
Right. No, but I think that diversity is missing. I think with the emergence of hip hop, especially like how big hip hop is now, that it is kind of like pushed the indie rock stuff to the side. I'm curious if that went into you, it influenced like you at all making your new music, whether you're thinking like, should I take the song a hip hop route or should I take it, a different route? Does this sort of like absence of the indie rock scene affect the music?
I don't think so, no, because I didn't go into it thinking that. I really went into it like, okay, I'm just gonna write the same way I would write, and just add this kind of old school flavor to it that's almost nostalgic,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I didn't really think about it like that. Like, am I gonna take this hip hop? Am I gonna have a feature on here? Like, it just flowed out.
Are you doing the mixing and mastering yourself too? I know you dabble. You do that too.
Yeah, I'm mixing and mastering myself. Yeah, I might get it remastered because there's gonna be album versions of everything that I'm gonna re-release, and I'm gonna get that mastered by somebody else. But in the meantime, while I'm releasing them as singles, for Howl season, then I'm just doing it all on my own. Yeah, in house.
Is that like what are some of the challenges to that? Because I feel like sometimes when I'm working on something and too long, I feel like too close to it. Do you ever get that way from when you're starting producing your own stuff to your own vocals and then mixing and mastering it?
Like demo-itis or whatever.
Oh yeah, in a way.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, by the time I'm done making a song, like Howl, for example, like the single, I bounced it out 13 times. And I, every single time I heard something that was off. Damn it. Okay. Boom. And it took me like 2-3 days just to get that right. And the song I'm about to release on the 29th, 20-something, I fully re-recorded the entire song because I didn't like the way that something sounded. Like, I'm really meticulous. So once I start getting into that process, which is like the fine-tuning, I just go in, man. I don't know. It's like no one else is going to do it but me, so I have to do it, you know? And sometimes it drives me crazy, but thank God for weed. And, it all works out.
Yeah, you mentioned 20-something. I wanted to talk about that. I know you got a birthday coming up. Is that what inspired this track? Sort of like what went into this one?
20-something is a song about, like, how I'm still like completely fascinated with the idea of becoming like, the best at what I do, or like, like for lack of a better word, a rock star, and it's like, I'm fucking getting older. I'm, 20-something. It's from the beginning of my 20s. So now I'm approaching the end of them and I'm still chasing this dream, and I'll still do anything for this dream. And I still work every single day for this dream. And that's what the song's about. It's about how, like, by now I thought I would have probably been somewhere further, but because I stuck to my guns, I'm still bending over backwards.
Mm-hmm. No, I can relate. I'm turning 30 soon, so that's why I had to ask, because I'm going through, like, the late 20s struggle, too.
Hey, man, they say 30 is the new 20, dude.
I hope so.
We should be all right. We should be all right. You know what I mean?
I read an interview with DJ Booth about Ghost, and that was, like, a pretty rough time for you. I'm curious to sort of like what your headspace was with the new project.
Yeah, dude, Ghost was dark. My headspace with the new project was definitely a clear headspace, a lot clearer than Ghost. It's a lot more self-reflective in like a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I'm joking about it. There's certain lines that you'll hear, like there's a song I have called Highest in the Room. And it's like, you're such a buffoon, the highest in the room. Like, just like funny stuff that like I'm talking to myself and then describing my actions or whatever. And then there's even lines where I'm like, I'll never apologize for another thing that I've done again or whatever. Like, just like, it's me kind of getting the closure from Ghosts and like all the projects before that were about my own downward spiral that I couldn't control for the life of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, turning 27, kind of taking 28 to be a man, a human, just get my life together and stop hanging out with the same people and, stop doing the same old thing. It's like I had time to reflect, and when I came back to writing, it just flowed out, like I said, and yeah, it's a lot more mature, steady place.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And we'll let you get out of here soon, but before we do, I want to ask you, sort of just tell us a little. We talked about like 20-something, a little bit, but what else can fans expect on the new album?
It's really soulful. It's a lot more upbeat, so expect like, it's just a lot more upbeat, and it's a lot poppier than things I've done in the past. There's a record called Hallelujah, which is like a full-blown pop record, but it's a tasteful pop record. Actually made it in 2012. It's just a lot more uplifting of a project all around, and there's no features. I might throw one in there, but in this right now, 100% me, just really raw, really gritty, grungy, fun rock music.
Awesome. Do you have a release date plan and something in mind? Anything you want to tip us to?
I mean, what I'm going to be doing is I'm releasing 3 tracks a month for the next 3 months, and then I will be releasing the entire project November. I think we're doing November 5th.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, let's let you get out of here. But first, we got 3 random questions for you. First, you're heading to the gas station. What are you gonna pick up?
Water.
Okay.
Functional. Okay.
Straight up. Like water in a backwood is probably exactly what I'm going to a gas station for.
Very functional. Second, guilty pleasure song or artist?
Justin Timberlake.
The way you said it, you can tell it's a guilty pleasure.
That's weird, right? Yeah. And I don't know, like, it was something about Timberland's production. It just got me. You feel me?
Okay, and then finally, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
With conviction.
Yeah, with both Justin Timberlake and that one were delivered with conviction.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that there's a place between here and there, and I think that people get stuck.
Cool. Awesome.
I either my brain is powerful enough to have tricked me into believing that I've seen some shit, or I actually did see some shit. So I just go with yeah.
I like it. All right, and last, not a question, but I guess where can fans find you on socials, keep up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at AshRiser, ASHRISER, which is my name. Actually on Instagram, same handle. Go to ashriserofficial.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
Spotify, AshRiser, all that.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to it, man. It should be exciting.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate the love, for real.
You're locked into Independent Grind on Dash Radio. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern, for the latest hip-hop news, music, and interviews. Independent Grind only on Dash Radio, baby. Tech 9!
This is the genius, Chris Calico.
Cali, baby!
Letting you know you're tuned into Tech 9's Independent Grind on Dash Radio.